Welcome, beautiful souls, to the Art of Living Masterclass. I am so grateful that you're here, whether you're here with me live or you are on the replay. Thank you so much. So I'm so excited you're here, and there is just so much goodness that is going to unfold within this masterclass. We're going to dive into harnessing your creative energy to make art out of your life and leadership. And we're going to explore this through my 3 pillars: embodiment, expression, and expansion. And we're also going to use the chakra system as a map, which is really cool. And I'll dive into some more of those details later. And at the end of this masterclass, I'm going to share some really exciting details with you about my membership, Space to Create, and the special discount code that you get as a thank you for being here. So, and I just have to say that if you love what we cover in this masterclass, you will absolutely love everything that is inside and coming into the Space to Create membership. So a little bit about me before we dive in. So my name is Rachel White. If we haven't met before, I am a coach, guide, author, and speaker, and I work with women to expand their experience of creativity, intuition, pleasure, embodiment, and ease. And my work really centers around the premise that we get to make art out of our everyday life and in the way that we exchange value in the world. I really grew up believing that I wasn't creative. I thought that I was, intelligent, this young achiever, kind of gifted child archetype. And when I look back, I can see that I was always channeling my creativity into my problem solving, into my ambitious goals, like into the things that I was doing with my life. And now I really intentionally harness that energy to create things that bring me joy and to make life feel like art. And like all parts of life can really feel like a work of art: the magic, the mystery, the mundane, all in between. And it's really exciting when we really harness this source energy within us, which I'll talk a little bit more as we go. So as you're listening, I would love for you to share that you're here in your story. You can take a screenshot, take a picture, you can share like a quotable moment or an insight that you received, and tag me at by Rachel White on Instagram. And I would love to reshare it. And also thank you so much for being here. Okay, so let's get into it. So the art of living. I love this concept. I love the concept of our entire life being our masterpiece, our beautiful work of art. And when we start to think about like the art of living, we can start to really pose these existential questions to ourselves. Like, am I really living? Do I feel alive? Why am I here? What is the point of living and dying and pain and pleasure? And it's like these existential questions allow us to explore depth within ourselves. And ultimately, there's no right answer to these questions. It's just something that we can contemplate and something we can explore. And we can also express art from our whatever arrives from our contemplation of those questions. And when I pose these questions to myself, there's this really beautiful duality and paradox of sorts that arises. And like the duality and the paradox is that everything matters and nothing matters. Like everything matters, like everything is beautiful, everything is important, everything is energy, everything has influence, and nothing matters. Like it doesn't matter what's there, because there can always be something else. So like nothing really matters. Nothing really has value unless we give it value. So it's this beautiful duality. And I'm going to talk a lot about this duality throughout this masterclass, that, two things can be true at once and an infinite amount of things can be true at once. And we ultimately decide our own truth, and we can hold duality in our own truth and be comfortable with that. And like life, there is so much depth, there's so much nuance, there are so many complexities, and it is also really simple, and both of those things can be true. So we get to co-create the magic of our own lives. And when I say co-create, like we are a creator and we co-create with the creative energy of the universe, or God, or like whatever label you want to give to divine source energy. And if you are drawn to my energy, you likely have this duality in your calling, in like how you long to live your life. On one side, it's the calling is to enjoy your life, to feel pleasure, to embody, to make art, to have life be this beautiful experience. And then on the other side is to have meaning, to create in a way that impacts others, to exchange value in a way that contributes to the evolution of ourselves and to others, and to have an impact. And that duality, to be a lover of life and a leader. And we have such a powerful capacity to hold space for both within ourselves. And I really honor you for that duality and for that double mission, for that double calling, and know that you can absolutely have both. So, okay, to get fully into it now, the art of living is about harnessing your creative energy, which is equally primal and divine, to harness that energy to pour out and make art with it. And the art is nourishing for both us and for those that it impacts, and for those that it reaches. And it impacts everyone that it reaches. And then like it's this beautiful ripple that continues, that is forever unfolding. The art of living has 3 pillars that I'm going to go through: embodiment, expression, and expansion, that I mentioned before. And we're going to use the chakra system as a map to move through each of these pillars. What I want to say about the map is that it's not like a typical map. It's not linear. It's kind of like, if you've seen the show The Good Place, which is a really great show, I really like that it's on Netflix. They so The Good Place, if you haven't seen it, basically like the good place is like kind of like heaven, the bad place is like hell, kind of like the afterlife is what it's about. And they talk about how time works differently in the afterlife, and they say time kind of works like Jeremy Bearimy. And it's like, just like if you imagine Jeremy Bearimy written in cursive, they're like, that's kind of like those lines is kind of like how time works there. It loops around, it intertwines, and there's a dot above the I, and that dot represents sometimes it's Tuesdays, sometimes it's July, and occasionally the time where nothing never occurs. And if we try to make sense of that with our logical human brain, we're just going to come to a wall and be like, no, like there's no way to make sense of that. So let's not waste energy. Let's not use energy trying to force it to make sense, and just accept the truth that it doesn't make sense. And this map within the chakra system, it loops around, it intertwines, it can start at different places. Like one can take you into a portal to something completely different that's not in line. So we can go all over the place within this map, but I think it's really powerful to know what each spot on the map represents, and to know that we can travel to any point from any point. Okay, so we're going to start with embodiment. And in embodiment, we're going to be covering the 3 lower chakras that govern our existence on the physical plane. These chakras ground our energy to be here on earth, to be fully here as human, and to be in our body ultimately. So embodiment is about embodying, being in our body, being alive in our body. So the 3 lower chakras are the root chakra, or the base chakra, you might have heard it been named, the sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra. And if the term chakra is completely new to you, there is so much amazing goodness in exploring what these are. I'm going to be going through them at kind of like an intro level, but essentially they are energy centers within our body that govern different parts of ourself, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, on all planes of our body's existence. And these like potent points of energy, there's 7 main ones in our body along our spine. So we start at the base of our spine, the root chakra. The root chakra is, for us, to start with the root chakra, it's about owning that for us to feel embodied and then expressed and then expanded, for that to happen, we need our foundation of safety to be in place. And this energy of the foundation of safety, like the stable foundation of our entire energetic system, is governed by the root chakra. To feel free to make art, it is important that we have our safety and security needs met. To make impact for others from a grounded place, these needs need to be met. So our safety needs are our internal needs, and our security needs are our external needs. So our internal safety needs are like the feeling of being supported, the feeling that we can self-source our own safety. And it's about having a restored nervous system, beliefs that support our life, and a mindset that your needs will always be met. So safety is really about those internal needs. Security is external needs. And we can't deny that as a human, there are external needs to our survival. So external security needs are shelter, food, water, money in the bank to pay our bills, to have those resources for shelter, food, and water, and whatever else we determine as a need to live our life. And this differs, like the security needs differ for everyone, and you get to decide what gives you security, what gives you a feeling of security in your life. Like for me, having my laptop and my phone and my car are important physical elements that allow me to feel like I have security in my life, that I can get in my car and go somewhere to get whatever I need. Like I have my laptop to work, and my phone connects me with the world and allows me to work and stuff as well. So your external security needs are, it could be anything, but it's what you decide it is. If your safety and security needs are not met, your body and mind will operate in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you can have little moments of experiences of being in your creator mode, but you will not likely be able to be in a prolonged state of this energy. When we're in, like, there's survival mode and there's creator mode, and they're not often experienced at the same time. And of course, there's nuance, there's complexities. When you're in survival, you will have moments of creativity. But when you're in survival mode, like, your main focus is on surviving. Your main focus is, how am I going to do this? How is this going to come together? Like where's my next meal going to come from? Like, and your survival, like when you're in survival mode, like it could be actual security, like physical things that your mind and body are consumed with, like where is my next meal going to come from? Where is my water going to come from? Whatever it is. Or like your survival mode could be set in by your safety needs that aren't met. And that could be like feeling accepted, feeling like you belong, could be really important to your internal safety needs. So like that could be all consuming. So when you're in survival mode, the focus is really on those survival needs that aren't being met. Whereas when you've met all your survival needs, your safety and security, you can move into being in a creator mode. And sometimes this shift can be really hard for people that grew up in really disruptive environments where they never really felt safe as children. But we can really start to heal that and build our foundation of safety so that we can more effortlessly move into this creator mode where we feel safe to create, because we know that all our survival needs are met. Prolonged states of survival mode really condition us to operate in our mental energy, and our mental energy isn't even in our head, it's outside of our head. So when we're in survival mode, we're really out of our body. We're not embodying anything because we're out here thinking like, how's this going to happen? How's this going to work? How am I going to survive? Am I going to die? Where's the danger? Where's the danger? Where's the danger? Where's the danger? And it's like, that is like the mental energy of like, there's going to be some kind of danger and I need to make sure that I can survive this. And that is really like, it's our human nature. When we feel like we are unsafe, like we are programmed, we are wired to want to survive, to prolong our life. So we will be in that mental energy of thinking, how can we do something, which is taking us out of our body. And when we're out of our body, we don't have full access to our creative energy, because our creative energy is in our body, which I'm going to talk about when I talk about the sacral chakra. When we feel safe and secure, we can play in our creator mode with ease. In the booklet that you will get alongside this masterclass, I have included many prompts to explore any energy that you may like to transcend within your root chakra. And it may really identify some areas that need some healing, some alchemizing. And make sure before you do the journal prompts that you read my guide. It's just a little paragraph on how to approach these questions first, because there are a lot of questions. And I explain this in the booklet. Essentially, you don't have to answer all the questions, but if you read them, your subconscious will contemplate them and things will rise to the surface. But there's a more in-depth guide in the book, but make sure you read that and follow it so that you don't get overwhelmed by how many prompts there are, because I have included a fair few intentionally, but also not for you to actually answer all of them. So the last thing I want to say about the root chakra and about having our safety and security needs met, and this is more specifically for anyone that desires to be in entrepreneurship, to have their business, to exchange value for the things that they birth through their creative energy into the world. So if you have desires and dreams of your own business, or maybe you've just started your business, or maybe you've been in business for a while, like, it doesn't matter, this will resonate. This will resonate if you're into entrepreneurship. So I don't give the advice that I hear many others give, and that is things like giving the blanket advice, saying to just go all in, just trust that everything will work out, just take a big leap and everything will work. I don't give this as blanket advice, because I don't think that it applies to everyone, because your relationship with safety and security is different to everyone else's. And if taking this big leap into your business when you don't have a foundation set up, when you don't have any savings, you don't have any backup plan, you don't have anything, like, that can be so disruptive to your nervous system. And then suddenly surviving through your business becomes the main focus instead of creating through your business. So if having a part-time job allows you to feel safe to creatively express through your business vision, then I would recommend keeping your part-time job. But if your job makes you feel unsafe to express, then perhaps it would be best to leave. But again, it's really about your relationship. Like, how safe and secure can you feel through the decisions that you're making? And we can self-source safety. And there is always going to be a level of fear when we're moving into something new, when we're moving into something uncomfortable, but we at least need to make sure we have our security, like our external survival needs met, and our internal safety needs, like we can do healing work and alchemizing work to build them, but we need to feel safe, because if we don't feel safe, it's really going to dilute the potency of everything that we're creating. When I left my full-time work as an accountant, it took me a year, probably a little over a year, of preparing to leave, like physically and mentally and emotionally as well. But it was really at like a survival needs level. It was really important for me to feel like I was financially stable before leaving, because when I left, I was on, I was working full time on an annual salary. And when I left, I wasn't going into a new job. I was just like leaving that professional career. And at the time, like, I was teaching yoga, and I was casually lecturing at a local university for it was like around 3 hours a week. And what allowed me to feel really financially stable. So in that year of preparation, it was a really big year, because I was in a lot of debt at the time. At the time I decided to leave, I was in about like $60,000 of debt. And me thinking that I want to leave with this debt, and with me barely being able to pay everything with my full-time job, I was thinking like, there's no way I would feel safe to leave now. So over the year, I paid off pretty much all of that debt. I had about like $40,000 in my savings. I made a lot of changes so that I could feel secure. Like, I sold my investment property, I made a profit, so I had a lump sum on that. I got like a long service leave payout. So when I left my job, I had $40,000 in savings, which was like what allowed me to just have that space to breathe, to feel safe and secure while I was transitioning into this new life. And I was also teaching yoga, so I knew I had some income, and I was doing that casual lecturing, which was like, I was getting paid like $120 an hour. So that made me feel like, okay, I'm safe and secure now, I can leave. But it took me a year to get to that point. Like, I would not have felt safe and secure to leave as soon as I made the decision to leave. And we can be really grateful for that transition time and know that through that transition time, what we desire is being created, and we can be in creation mode through that transition. And I'm going to talk about everything you desire being in creation already a little later on. So it doesn't have to take you a whole year. It doesn't have to take you a lot of time, but it is really important to explore what allows for both safety and security and freedom within your own body, within your own energy, within yourself. It may be that you leave your full-time job and you start like a part-time or a casual job while you work on building your business. Or you may have the privilege to have a family like give you a loan, or to have your partner like fund your household while you start your like dream creative business. There's no right or wrong. It's really about leaning into the support you have. And I have to say, in my story as well, I was really privileged to have a lot of family support. Like, when I said that I was $60,000 in debt, at the time I was renting, and I like moved back in with family, and that gave me a lot of space to breathe. So I was very fortunate to have that option. And so really explore like what support is available to you and what is going to allow you to feel more safe and secure, so that you can move out of that survival mode and into your creator mode. The work you do, like the part-time job you have as the transition job, or the job that you have now, that work can fund your dreams. And that's for you to explore, like how we approach the work we're doing, if it's not necessarily in our long-term vision, or we know that it's not something that we ultimately want to continue with long-term. And we can really honor the stepping stone moments, because it's evidence that our wild dreams are in motion, that they're already being creative, like I said before. Okay, let's talk about the sacral chakra. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Okay, so the sacral chakra, which physically is in our womb space or our lower abdomen, and this is the home of our sexual life force and creative energy. They are all one in the same. When we arrive on earth, when we're birthed into the world on earth, we are born with a creative impulse from our very first breath. Our first breath animates our human body as a baby. And if you've ever seen like a baby being born, you see that like before they take their first breath, they don't have a life force. But as soon as they take their first breath, they're animated in the physical world outside of their mother's womb. And you have this primal impulse towards creation. The impulse is both primal and divine. And the impulse to create, like we're creating with every breath we take. We're creating through our thoughts. We're creating through our actions. We have this impulse to create new things. We have this impulse to create new life in many ways. Your sacral chakra holds the source of your creative energy. And that energy is what allows you to create. It is your sexual energy. It is your life force. All energies are one and the same, like I said. So your sexual and life force energy are innate to your human experience. You create in all moments that you're human, and you have to be in your body, embodied, to be able to create to your highest capacity, to your highest potential. We are co-creators of our reality. Like I mentioned before, just as we need to be co-creators to bring new human life into the world, like we need the feminine, the masculine to unite, to be in union, to come together in order to create new human life. And just as the same, we are co-creators, like we are our creative energy and we co-create with the universe or source energy. And when we look at the truth that we are co-creators, we can see that, you know, we are born into circumstances. We are born into nature cycles. We live among billions of humans co-creating from their own impulses. And in the spiritual world, there can be some teachings that suggest that we create everything about our reality, that everything in our reality is something that we wanted to create, that is something happened to us and everything around us is what we created. And I personally do not fully subscribe to this belief. There are many things about your reality that you did not choose and that you did not create, and that you had no hand in creating. But knowing that does not negate your personal power. And, you know, this is another paradox of life that we get to play in, like knowing the influence of our inner and outer world and connecting to our impulse to create and being in motion with the creation of the universe and the rest of the world. Like you have so much influence and power in creation, but you don't have to take personal responsibility for every single thing that unfolds within your life, because some things you did not create and you were not responsible for. And we have so much power in our co-creation. Both of those truths, the duality, can exist at once. So the masterpiece of your life is the canvas, and you may not have chosen the initial tools that you had to paint the canvas, but you have the power to choose new tools, like new brushes, new colors, new paints, new whatever other equipment you want to use throughout your life. You know, maybe the color of the canvas was chosen for you, and maybe you repainted that base color as soon as you were born. Maybe you painted something beautiful and divine and someone else came and just spilt black paint on it, intentionally or unintentionally, unconsciously. We do not have to bypass when others like disrespect and damage the art of our life, and we can make it beautiful again. All of your creative energy that you have ever poured out onto your canvas of life is sacred in its raw, unfiltered, messy chaos, and in its polished, refined version too. There's so much duality to everything that we will ever experience in life. The art of living is largely about enjoying your life and being willing to witness it as a work of art. And the more you tune into your capacity to make art within any moment, the more creative energy you have to pull out intentionally. So that overflowing pour may go into your relationships, your business, your impact, your mission, your home, your activism, your leadership. Every single facet of your expression and every single facet of your life is made more beautiful and more of a work of art when your creative energy has that beautiful outpour. And that outpour comes from enjoying your life, being in your body, being embodied, and doing things that actually allow you to feel alive. So allow your desires and your curiosity to lead you towards making art. Follow the breadcrumbs that turn you on. And I mean turn you on in like what makes you feel alive, like what gives you that like just sensations in your body that feel pleasurable. Like go towards those desires and that curiosity and see how it unfolds. And that is really how you stay in your body while making art out of life. Okay, so the last of our lower three chakras is the solar plexus. The solar plexus is at the center of our belly. Its color is yellow. I didn't say the other colors, but the root is red, sacral is orange, solar plexus is yellow. And this chakra is the home of your personal power, your drive, your ambition, your confidence. Your decisions and action is what puts your energy in motion. And your energy needs to be in motion in order to gain momentum. In your personal power, your declarations become so. And sometimes that happens over time and we don't have control of the time. But the more we put ourselves in motion, the more momentum and the quicker things arrive. But when you make a declaration, trust that it is so when you're in your power. Often, like, the time is still catching up to you. And the way to make time catch up quicker, like I mentioned before, is to keep building momentum. Know what you desire, take the action, and then go out and enjoy your life. Sounds so simple. And again, there's so much complexities, nuance, and depths to explore that. So there's two facets of your personal power and personal confidence that I want to explore within this masterclass. And the first one is your identity statements, and the second is your decision making. Both play such a huge role in how receptive we really are to actually enjoy our life and to be able to create the beauty and art, and also be able to recognize the beauty and art in everything that we have created. And if you've ever felt like you're just kind of living your life and you don't even know what your hobbies are, you don't know what brings you joy, you don't even know if you actually have fun and you enjoy your life, I have been there. It was like, and it was kind of this, like, a bit of a gut punch when I really realized, like, I wasn't really enjoying any moment of life. But when we really start to harness our creative energy and come back home to our body, it is, and following that desire and curiosity, it becomes this experience that has a lot more ease to really tune into what brings me joy, like what feels like art, what feels fun for me to do. So so what you believe to be true about yourself through your identity, how you define your identity, and your decisions, they both shape the containers for our energy and for our creative energy. And our creative energy has to have space held for it to be potent and fully experienced. And I explain this in the same examples I use to describe feminine and masculine energy. If we think about a riverbed, there's the land, the actual riverbed, and then there's the water. The masculine is the riverbed, like the structure, the space that is holding the space, and then the water can come and play in the riverbed and flow and, you know, do what it wants to. If there was no riverbed there, if there was no structure, that water would dissipate and dilute and have no real power and no real purpose. It would just be floating around and probably absorbing into the ground. So the feminine, like, is our creative energy. It needs that masculine to hold the structure and to hold the space, and our personal power is what allows us to hold space and structure for ourselves. Like, another example is the car and fuel. The car is the structure, is the space, and it can look really beautiful, it can look amazing, but if it has no fuel in it, the creative energy, then it'll just sit there and it'll have no purpose and it'll have no meaning. And the fuel, when the fuel and the car come together, then you have this vehicle that can drive you. And again, if you had the fuel but you didn't have the car, it would just be a thing that really didn't drive towards anything. And like, there's so many other examples when we think about the dynamics between something that is holding space and then something that can flow in and bring it life. And this is with our creative energy, our personal power, our masculine internal energy holds the space, and our creative feminine energy flows in it and creates magic, and it has direction and it can be outpoured into whatever we do. If we do not hold the space for our creative energy, it dissipates, it dilutes, it has no motion, it has no drive, it has no purpose, essentially. And sometimes we don't have to give every single bit of our creative energy purpose. Sometimes the purpose in and of itself can be just to experience it, just to be in flow. But when we're in that energy, when we're never really moving forward, we're never in motion towards the things that we are really desiring. Okay, so let's talk about identity statements. We formed most of our identity statements before we were 7 years old. In our childhood, we made decisions about ourselves as identity statements, and identity statements are usually when they begin with I am, like things we believe about ourselves. And that could be, I am good at maths, I am bad at science, I am someone who takes care of others, I am scared of the dark, I am scared of dogs, I am scared of whatever, I speak English, I am short, I have blue eyes. And like there are so many things that we decided were the truth about ourselves. And some of these we may have reframed over the years. A lot of them we still accept them as truth. And even if we question some of them now, we think, obviously, like that's just true. But there are many that are in our subconscious mind that we're not really aware of, that we're still holding on as identity statements. And when at the point in time, usually in our childhood, but identity statements can arrive throughout all our life. At the moment it became an identity statement, we just accepted it as a given. And what we need to recognize now as adults is how much influence other people had on how we saw ourselves when we were children. When we were children, all these identity statements we were forming, they didn't all come from us and from our pure energy. A lot of it was a reflection on how we perceived other people to see us. And when we accept that, we can really look back on our childhood and start to question and contemplate, like, did you have the support and encouragement as a child to explore different expressions of yourself? Did you have space to build skills, or did you only follow what other people told you that you were good at? And I want to share this study with you because I think that it has a really important point. So I looked everywhere. I heard about this study a while ago and I've always remembered it because I thought, whoa, that's incredible. I looked so hard to find the actual reference. I couldn't find it, but I promise you, I did read this from an actual study. So this was a while ago as well. So there was a primary school class of students, and a research group came in and tested the students' IQ. They did a number of tests to determine the IQ of each of the students in this primary school class. And they did this across multiple classes. But the results for the class I'm going to talk about was the same as all of them. So then when they had the IQ of each of the students, they told the teacher, they didn't tell the teacher the actual IQ score, but they said this X group of students were advanced to genius level. Like they were above average, advanced, genius level, X. Y group of students were below average in their IQ. So at the start of the teaching year, the teacher knew, that these students X were advanced, like very smart essentially, and these Y group of students were below average, had learning challenges, whatever. They just had a lower IQ. So throughout the year, the X group of students consistently scored higher in all learning outcomes as the year went on, and that margin kept growing from the Y group of students. At the end of the year, it was revealed that all students in question actually had the same relative starting point. So if that was the case, then why did that X group of students consistently score so much higher in all their tests and continue to improve? Like the margin was increasing. And it's because when the X group of students didn't understand something in class, the teacher assumed that she needed to explain it differently, that the student would of course pick it up, and that with a little bit of her help, of course they would get it. Whereas with the Y group of students, when they asked questions, when they didn't understand, the teacher just assumed it was because they had a lower IQ and they were less capable of understanding. So she gave them less help. This made a huge difference to, one, the help, the encouragement they got, and ultimately the confidence levels of those children. Because as children, confidence grows with the evidence that we see and experience. And with those students that were getting more help, when they got a higher grade, they started to identify with, I am one of the smart students, I'm good at this, and their confidence grew. And then on the other hand, the other students, a lot of them felt like, oh, like I scored lower, I'm bad at this, I'm not as good. And then those identity statements kept growing and building either confidence or doubt in these students, and the margin between them kept getting bigger within those test scores. And I think it's crazy to think about that. And can you reflect on the message from that study within your own childhood? When it comes to everything you think you know to be true about yourself, just be curious and be prepared to discover that some things that you have taken as a given fact may actually hold no truth and be not true at all. Maybe with some more self-sourced confidence and encouragement now and the right support, you could do anything that you have told yourself for your entire life isn't a possibility for you, including being creative as fuck and loving the fuck out of your life. Don't let yourself believe that you're not creative, because that just is not true. No matter how bad at painting you were in primary school, no matter how more creative you think the other people are around you, you are fucking creative. And I want you to really own that truth and, you know, be curious and explore different parts of the things you believe about yourself that may not be true at all. And how can you give yourself more confidence and encouragement? And you don't have to earn that, you don't have to justify it, you can just give it to yourself. Okay, so the second part of the solar plexus I want to talk about is decision making. Your decisions and how you follow through is a testament to your confidence, and your decisions are what put you in motion. Your action that come from your decisions are what put you in motion, and being in motion is what allows you to gain momentum. Your curiosity and your desires from your sacral center are this shining light, but it is your action that moves you forward on that path. And that's the beautiful relationship between those two chakras. Because your sacral chakra is like your feminine energy, your solar plexus is your masculine energy, and this divine union of the two allows you to see the path and to go in motion along the path. And the truth about decisions is that you cannot get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. There is no such thing as a good or bad decision. There's no such thing as right or wrong. You impose the meaning and you impose the morality. And from my perspective, I think being in motion is better than stalling, trying to work out the perfect answer when there actually is no perfect answer. Yes, some decisions take a little longer to contemplate potential consequences. Some decisions are really important, so we will like plan it out and play with it, but in the planning and playing, we are actually in motion. We're not stalling and stagnating our energy. Being in motion is so powerful, and you will gain momentum in that way instead of trying to plan out the perfect thing that is actually only delaying the desired thing that you want. So be in your power, choose to believe that every decision you make is the right decision for that moment. And this is a choice to believe that every decision that I make is the right decision for the moment I was in, given what I knew at the time, the resources I have, the energy I was in. I made the right decision, and we can be confident in that. We always make the right decision. And when we choose to have that confidence, when we choose to have that belief, we don't allow energy leaks from continuous doubt. Those thoughts of doubt and the fear that it spirals into, we don't allow continuous energy leaks to really dilute our energy. Fear and doubt are a natural part of the human experience, but like, know that they will arise, but, and this is a big but, we don't actually have to engage with these thoughts of doubt and fear. We can laugh them out. We can laugh them off. We can tell them to fuck off. We can throw them a going away party. But, you know, we don't have to respond to them. We don't have to engage with them. We don't have to align with them. And we don't have to perpetually spiral with them to leak out our beautiful creative energy. You have made the right decision. You have made the right decision to lead you to this very moment in your life, and you will make the next right decision, because your next decision will put you in greater motion. Keep putting yourself in motion and trust that the momentum will catch up with you. And in the meantime, you just get to enjoy the fuck out of your life. Okay, that is all for embodiment. Really, like, being in your body, enjoying your life is the key takeaway from that. Okay, moving into expression, the second pillar. So I want to pose some questions that you don't have to have an answer to. I just want your intuition to sink them in for a second. What do you have to say? What do you long to express? The world and the universe is longing for you to speak, and then speak louder. So stop teasing the universe and express yourself. What do you have to say? I want you to think about that, and something may immediately come forward. So you can pause this and write it down if you need to. Okay, so talking about expression, there are two chakras that are the leading energies and influences in the way that we express ourselves, and they are the heart chakra and the throat chakra. So heart chakra is center of our chest. Throat is, as you would guess, in our throat space. Okay, so starting with the heart chakra. So the energy that governs this, the heart chakra is the energy that governs unconditional love, acceptance, peace, compassion, empathy. For feminine identifying beings, it is our portal that we give from, our giving portal. And our receiving portal is our sacral chakra that we talked about before. So we give through the heart, receive through the sacral. Your heart center, so your heart chakra, is also the home of your soul and the home of your inner child energy. It is a divine, beautiful, powerful portal, as it is the bridge between your lower chakras and higher chakras. So we have the three lower chakras that we've already talked about. The heart is the middle chakra, and then we have the three higher chakras that I mentioned, the throat, and we'll go into the other two later. Your heart is the bridge, because your heart is the only chakra that contains energy of your primal self and your divine self. Your heart is the bridge, and that's why it is the powerful home of your soul and your inner child, because your inner child is such a beautiful energy that you can hold within yourself. Your lower chakras ground you to the earth. Your divine chakras pull you into the spirit world. Your heart chakra connects you to both at all times. It's so beautiful. I love talking about the heart chakra. So your heart, like when you think about all of that meeting in the middle, like all your divine channeled source, like source energy, universal energy coming into your body, like meeting all your primal human emotional creative goodness. When you think about all of that coming together and meeting in the middle, like it holds all expressions of you, which are all sacred, all divine. And because of this, because of all that energy it's holding, and our energy centers, just a little side note that's really cool to know about the heart chakra, all of our energy centers have an energy field. So around our body, there's an energy field. And for each of the chakras, it's different for everyone because it depends how activated your chakras are. But it's about like maybe like 2 meters. Just imagine like every other chakra is like 2 meters, but your heart chakra actually expands so much further. And I've seen something say that it can go up to 100 meters. So like your heart energy is like around, like so far around you. The diameter is so far around. And it's really like, think about how your heart energy is impacting all the people that are around you. And it's so beautiful. And when someone has a really open heart chakra and they walk into a room, like, you really feel their energy. It's such a powerful space. So okay, so that was just a little tangent, but your heart contains messages that you really want to share, causes that you really want to contribute to, experiences that you want to explore, relationships that you desire, and all these kind of like longings, like these life longings that it's like, I just know I just want to experience this with my full body and my full being. All of these are really coming from the heart space. So your heart is such a beautiful leader when it comes to making art out of your life. Your heart will always guide you towards what is really important, and not like really important, what really matters to you, how you really long to express yourself and to be yourself and to embody yourself. And in making art out of your own life, this expression already impacts the world around you because you're leading from your heart, and that just has such impact and influence over everyone that you come into contact with. And your expression contributes to the evolution of the world. Your heart-based living and expressing is such an asset to your leadership and to your intentional impact. Oh, excuse me. Some power vibrating in my throat chakra. Okay. So trust your heart. Trust your heart. Allow your heart to be open. Allow yourself to be expressed from your heart. And sometimes we build these walls around our heart because we want to hide our true self, because like, this is really interesting for us to explore when it comes to some healing work around expressing ourselves. If we feel like we're going to be judged, then it takes vulnerability to put yourself in a situation where people can judge you for being your true self. So if we think we're going to be judged, we want to hide our true self so that they judge us for our fake self. Because if they judge us for our fake self, then it's fine, because that's not the real us anyway. But if we put our full self out there and we get judged and we get hurt, then it has the potential for more heartache, because that was our true self. That was us putting ourselves out there vulnerably and fully. And when I say we, like, I'm generalizing, because this is a pattern that a lot of people can fall into. So just know how you're hiding your heart and how you can let your heart come forward and trust your heart. Build that trust with your heart, and it will have such beautiful a beautiful influence to how you express yourself and how you make art out of your life. Okay, let's go to the throat chakra. So throat chakra governs our expression and our communication. And this goes beyond what we say, what we voice, or what we write down. You can communicate and express through your energy, through your body language, through your thoughts. You can communicate in many different ways, but your voice is very powerful. Your voice holds such a powerful frequency. Your voice is a powerful transmuter of energy, and your voice will be incredibly activating to those that are meant to hear it. And to some, your voice will be very triggering because they hear that frequency and they're like, I'm not ready to deal with whatever energy they're sending out, so I'm just going to hate that person. And that's okay. Like, we don't have to be responsible for how other people receive us, and the emotional response of others is never our responsibility. In the art of your impact and leadership, your expression is so powerful, and it's necessary, it's needed. When you bite your tongue, when you swallow your words, when you hold yourself back from sharing what it is that you long to say, you dilute the potential and the potency of your impact. And the way that you move stagnancy within the throat space is to speak. Speak when you think no one is listening. speak with conviction when one person is listening, speak louder and louder and louder and louder and louder, and speak when you feel called to, and say what it is that you are desiring to say, and allow that connection between your heart space to your throat space, where your heart is telling you what to say and it needs to be expressed out through the throat space. Something that can be incredibly healing, which can also be very uncomfortable. So the first time you do what I'm about to say, like give yourself space, because I know that it can be a really uncomfortable practice. But what I want you to do, if you feel like you have any blocks in your throat space, like you hold yourself back from speaking, I want you to practice speaking, recording yourself, and then listening back to it. And if you felt like a little cringe, that it's like, no way I'm going to listen to my recorded voice, then know that this is definitely something that will be very powerful for you to do. So this could be that you just go into doing lives on social media, like you just press live, so you have to speak and say something, riff on something you feel passionate about or that you want to talk about. It could be that like you're interviewing someone or someone's interviewing you. It could be like not actually published anywhere, that you're just like recording yourself speak about something. But I want you to record yourself speaking, like give yourself a prompt, give yourself something that you can speak on. And then I want you to listen back and be fucking impressed with what you said. Like just be amazed at what you channeled through as you were speaking, and celebrate yourself for every little thing, even if it's just like one word you used and you're like, fuck yes, like that just made that sentence perfect. Be impressed with yourself, and listen back to become comfortable with your voice. And I want to explain the reason most people feel really uncomfortable listening back to their own voice. And it is because when we listen to other people's voices, we hear them through our ears, right? But when we hear our own voice as we are speaking, we hear our voice through our bones. So we're listening through a different thing. But when we listen to our recorded voice, like if we record ourselves and then play it, we hear our voice through our ears. So when you listen to this recording, your brain is expecting, when you're listening to a recording and you know that it's you, your brain is expecting to hear something familiar because it knows that it's your voice. And when that recorded voice doesn't sound familiar because we're hearing it through our ears instead of our bones, the brain kind of trips out and kind of disassociates with that and thinks like, that cannot be how I sound. That cannot be me. That voice is disgusting. That is not me. I reject it. I'm repulsed by it. And it's like the brain like has this reaction, and that reaction can even go into the body to feel like that cringe and that repulsion, that rejection of that is not me. So just know that like that's what's happening. And how you get comfortable with your voice, like listening to your own voice, is just to listen to it more, so that your brain can become comfortable, so that your brain can become familiar with it. And I promise the more you practice listening to your voice, the more comfortable it becomes. And like this is something that I've listened to my voice on recording for countless amount of hours, because when I recorded guided meditations, like I even do my own guided meditations, like, and that used to be real cringe like in the beginning, but now actually I like the sound of my own voice in guided meditations. But it was because I was doing them, I wanted to listen. When I listened back to like other recorded classes that I taught, when I had like my podcast, when I was interviewing people, I'd have to re-listen to write the notes and stuff. So I've just had so much exposure to listening to my own voice that now I have like no disassociation with it. Like it just feels normal. Like it's just a voice to listen to, and it just like anyone else's voice that I would listen to. Like there's not many people's voices, like there's none that I can think of off the top of my head that I don't like hearing. Like it's just their voice. And that's how your recorded voice will become to feel to you if you allow yourself to be in that space. But there will be some discomfort moving into it, especially if you say that you don't like the sound of your own voice. So why this is so important to practice this is that if you have a fear around what your voice sounds like, even if it is like just the fear of you yourself listening to it, it can really stagnate the flow within this energy center of your throat. Because if you're worried about people not liking the sound of your voice, it just creates a stagnancy around you actually expressing yourself. And your full expression is what allows the art to flow from your creative energy out into the world. The more you express, the more you play. And the more you play, the more you can refine. And an example of this that I was thinking about the other day is watching. So, my little nephew, he's just turned one a little over a month ago. And it's just so fascinating watching him just like play around when he's like a little like generator baby. Like he just has so much energy just to keep playing and playing and playing. And he has like so many toys and things to do, but he'll just crawl around, get something, like play with it for a while. And it's just so fascinating watching him doing something or like trying to do something. And like obviously he has no expectations on himself to do anything in particular, but then all of a sudden like he's mastered this new thing. And it's just it's so cute, but it's also so interesting to watch. And it's because he's just playing around. He's not trying to force himself. He's not putting any pressure on himself. He's just playing, and then he masters new forms of expression and new skills throughout that play. And we can really, like, there's so much we can learn from how kids learn, and we can really embody that inner child energy from our heart space and play in that way and allow ourselves to become refined in our skills and expression through our play, not through our forced energy. So the question to ask yourself is, how do you want to express yourself? How, like, and again, go back to your curiosity, follow the breadcrumbs. You can practice with low stakes. Excuse me. You can practice with low stakes, like when you're by yourself, like when no one's listening, or on a new Instagram page you make where there's only, 10 followers or 10 people in a group or whatever it is. Keep practicing, keep playing. Your expression will expand when you allow yourself to play with it, and your impact and leadership will amplify the more expressed that you are. Okay, a little drink break. So we're on our last pillar, and we're almost done. So expansion is the last pillar, and the two chakras here are your third eye in between your eyebrows and your crown chakra on the crown of your head. So your third eye chakra governs the energy of your imagination and your spiritual intuition. Your third eye holds the capacity to see beyond the limits of your current reality. And this is why your daydreams and your fantasies and everything that you conjure up within your imagination is so sacred, because it's actually connecting you to realms of energy, to possibilities. And in realms of energy, things aren't literal, things aren't linear, things can be symbolic, and all different things, but it's still connecting you to the energy of these really amazing things. And you get to make art in that space. You get to make art within your daydreams, because your energetic experiences are real. They're real because that energy comes into your body if you allow it to travel from your third eye downwards. And the more you play with them, the higher capacity they have to be channeled through your physical body and out into your physical reality. And once the frequencies are embodied, you become the magnet that attracts the material with the same frequency. This doesn't always mean the exact thing that you imagine will arrive to you. It could be represented in a different physical form than you had imagined yourself. So this is the energy, like, it's just so exciting to play within this energy, and just another way for us to make art out of life. And if anyone ever told you, like, as a child, you were just lost in the clouds, you were like, not in the real world, or blah, 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 like ignore all that ick and get back to your daydreams, get back to your fantasies, because they hold so much magic for you. And when we do it in a way that allows us to still be embodied and not disassociated from our body, because don't get me wrong, there is some daydreaming and some mental activity that can take us out of our body for prolonged periods of time that, doesn't allow us to connect the daydreams to our creative energy. But when we allow ourselves to daydream in an embodied way, it's so exciting to play in this space. And in this energy, like in our imagination, things are instantly manifested. Like we can imagine a reality and instantly manifest a new thing into that reality, because it's instantly manifestation. So this means that when ideas download into our awareness, any kind of idea, we can bring them into this realm of instant manifestation through our imagination and play with the potential of different paths. And the things just so you had an idea to run a masterclass, you can take it into this realm of your imagination and limitless potential, and imagine, maybe I could run it like this or this or this, and you can instantly kind of feel into the energy of the different potentials and embody whichever one feels the best for you to play with physically. And the things that you birth into the world, you get to play with them first in this space. Your imagination is a divine gift. Your imagination is a sacred key to your expansion, and you get to decide what kind of relationship you have with it. Okay, so the last chakra that we're going to talk about, the last of the 7 main chakras, is our crown chakra. So your crown chakra is your divine link. Can't really see my head. Is your divine link to source, to God, the universe, whatever name you like to give to divine energy. And this divine link makes it possible for you to be constantly channeling from source. I like to use the word source or spirit. You can replace that with whatever you like. So it's the divine link to be a constant channel, a constant conduit to bring things from the divine source energy into our physical existence. And there are light codes that only you have the capacity to bring to earth, and that you get to infuse within your creations. And that is a really exciting energy to play with, like when we get more into channeling. How receptive you are to the channeling of this energy is decided by your intention. You get to decide how receptive and how open you are to channeling. When you decide you're open and receptive, it comes straight in. When you're not receptive, like it's trying to channel and you're over here. So you just have to, with your intention, come here and allow the channel of ideas and inspiration and light codes and all the divine goodness to flow into your being. So a sacred message that the crown chakra holds is to love your fucking life. And the crown chakra in its divine energy, maybe I wouldn't use language like that, but maybe it would. And that sacred message really arises from the core message of the crown chakra, which is your value is in existing. Full stop. You have value because you exist, because you are here. And there is nothing that you have to do. There is nothing for you to prove. There's nothing for you to defend. You just get to live. You just get to exist. And when we take the pressure off ourselves that, around having to do anything or should do anything, and to know that we have value and we get to make art just because we exist and just because we live, it feels so liberating and it feels so expansive. Like it's such a beautiful, beautiful energy to immerse in. Your leadership is about leading yourself first and foremost. Your leadership is activating, it's inspiring. So allow people to follow you, allow people to be inspired and activated by you. You do not need to convince them, you do not need to force them. Keep leading yourself, keep enjoying your life, and trust that the transmission of your work and your life is generating this beautiful impact that gains momentum with every single moment. Your purpose is to be you. You have nothing to prove, nothing to defend. You don't have to help other people. You just do. You naturally do through your creative impulse. And that can be expressed in many, many ways. I have in the booklet, there's a guided meditation on expansion where we go through all the chakras and really expand your energy in such a beautiful way. It's a really beautiful guided meditation. So make sure you do that. So, okay, summing all of this up, you can begin anywhere within the map of your chakras. Sometimes you channel from your crown and it moves through your imagination, your throat, your heart, to feel into its expression, to your solar plexus to build confidence, to your sacral to infuse with your creative energy, and to your root to fully embody and then birth into the world. Sometimes it is linear. It just comes straight down. Sometimes it can start from the earth and move straight up. And sometimes it can start at your heart, a message that your soul longs to share, and it goes straight to your throat and it's expressed out into the world straight away. Sometimes it begins in your sacral or your third eye. Sometimes it goes all over the place. It starts in your imagination, and then you channel something to add to it from your crown, and then it goes to your sacral to combine with your creative energy, and then your solar plexus comes in to bring in the space, and then you birth it, and then your heart's connected the entire time effortlessly. Or sometimes it starts in your solar plexus and you build the structure and then you allow the energy to flow in. It's not linear. Like I said at the very beginning, your creative energy, the spark of something being birthed into the world from you can begin in any chakra point and can travel through all of them. Your life force is always pulsing through all of your chakras, and any individual creation or work of art takes a beautiful energetic journey within you of its own before it's birthed into the world for others to interact with. And when you amplify the energy of all of your chakras, you create this beautiful divine landscape where your entire life and all of your life and leadership get to be this work of art, and you become in tune with your creative energy and can harness it in any moment and can make any individual moment a divine work of art. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the masterclass of the art of living. And the last thing I want to talk about is my membership, Space to Create, and the new updated details for this membership. And if you love this masterclass, you will absolutely be obsessed with everything that's going to happen in this masterclass. So in the membership. So let me talk about it. So what is it? So Sacred Space is a membership, a monthly membership to activate and amplify your creative energy while making art out of your everyday life and your impact in the world. I created Space to Create because I feel the potential of others so naturally. And one of my gifts is to amplify the creative energy within you. I wanted to create one space for those who want to be in my energy and to learn from me and to immerse in my teachings and energy. And I'm so excited to see everything that comes to life within you and that is birthed from you out into the world within this space. What is included is, so in the membership, there are 2 tiers. Tier 1 is, so inside of tier 1, there's going to be a weekly live. And in this weekly live, I will answer any questions that have been posted in the group throughout the week. I will riff on topics that I feel excited to talk about around creativity, intuition, pleasure, impact. I will do an oracle reading. I have this deck of cards, the Sacred Creator Oracle. These are only for the Space to Create membership. So you'll get a beautiful oracle reading for the group once a week. And sometimes there'll be a meditation or another practice or just something I feel inspired to do. So there'll be a weekly live. There'll be a monthly full moon ceremony. And for the first lot of full moon ceremonies, I'm going to focus them on the chakras and creative energy. And the full moon ceremony is going to be about like releasing, embodying, moving energy, shifting states. It's going to be really beautiful. A combination of restorative yoga, meditation, journaling, sometimes some expression. It will be an amazing ceremony every month. And you also get access to my entire resource library. At the moment, there is over $1,300 worth of programs and other content. And this will keep growing and keep expanding. The list of everything that is included in that resource library at the moment is on my website if you want to read through everything. And you also will be in a community in the private Facebook group for connection with the other members, to post your questions or your celebrations or anything like that inside there as well. So the investment for tier 1 is $69 per month, and I have a special discount that I'm going to talk about in a second, so hold on. And inside of tier 2, you get all of the above, so everything I just talked about, plus you get a monthly creative incubator call. So this will be a group call with everyone inside of tier 2, and you get, like, there will be hot seat coaching, there will be individual support, and you also get to listen to the support for everyone else in terms of like bringing your creative ideas to life and honoring and harnessing your creative impact in your life and leadership. And there'll be a second monthly call for this group in tier 2, and it'll be a new moon mentoring call. And this will be a space for you to get guidance, coaching, all the good stuff. There will be hot seats, so you'll get like one-on-one time within the group call, and you'll get to tune into the one-on-one time from everyone else as well. And there will also be a group chat for everyone inside of tier 2 for weekly message coaching. So you can, it'll basically be like a mini mastermind, the tier 2 group. And it is going to be limited to only 10 people within tier 2. And this investment is $313 per month. So you get you get 3 monthly calls and a group chat with coaching inside of tier 2, plus my resource library and everything else that I said. There is no lock-in, so you can stay for as many months as you feel called to. And it's a space to create for you to come into and create what you like. So I want to talk just a second on what is coming up inside of the membership. I could have done a full training on each chakra alone. So this is something that or on each of the pillars alone. So I'm going to keep expanding on the chakras, on these pillars of embodiment, expression, and expansion. And there'll be more masterclasses. There'll be other content. There'll be amazing things coming inside. I have listed 4 trainings that I'm really excited to bring in very soon. And one of them is going to be a 4-part series on the process of creation to bring your ideas to life into the world. So I feel like that's going to be so amazing. I only kind of noted that down a couple of days ago, but I'm going to flesh it out more. And I already feel it's going to be so amazing. And everything new that I create will go into this membership. So you'll get access to it. First and foremost, this is like one of my main intentions where I'm going to pull my energy into going forward. So, okay. Thank you so much for being here. As a thank you, you get a 50% discount code off your first month inside of Space to Create. So you'll have the link, whether you clicked on this through an email, it'll be in there, or in the booklet that you get, the discount code will be in there. So the discount code is create50, and the link will be there, and you can use that to get 50% off your first month. So just the first month will be 50% off. You can use this for tier 1 or tier 2. And I'm also going to allow you to use the discount code for annual payments. So if you use the 50% off for your annual payment, you pay like half the annual fee, which is amazing if you know you want to be in this space for the entire year. So thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love. If we aren't already connected, find me at by Rachel White on Instagram. I would love to connect with you, get to know you more. And if you want to join this membership, it's going to be such an amazing experience to be in. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Namaste.